exactly, but it was either about my performance or some light racism. Definitely one of the two. Give me a flipping break.
Can I say something?
Yeah, of course. First of daughter in the crowd, both of them yelling, couldn't hear what they were saying exactly, but it was either about my performance or some light racism. Definitely one of the two. Give me a flipping break.
Can I say something?
Yeah, of course.
That's incredible.
Patrick Bet David just dropped straight fire on Brittney Griner, and the internet is in full meltdown mode. The Valuetainment founder didn't hold anything back when he saw that now viral clip of Griner's comments about Caitlin Clark. What's he said next? Let's just say it's got everyone talking. And Griner probably wishes she never touched the court that day. So here's the real question. Was Patrick Bet David too ruthless with his takedown, or did Brittney Griner have it coming? I mean, let's call it what it is. Sounded like trash effing white girl, he said. Brutal. The sports world exploded over this one. Patrick Bet David didn't just criticize, he unleashed one of the
of feminism is the ultimate example of not choosing your enemies wisely. You chose men as being the enemy. 40 years later, 50 years later, you're 65 years old, single, not married, no kids.
Coldest rant sports media as seen in years. Brittney Griner, she's likely still trying to process the verbal beatdown. The entrepreneur and media powerhouse obliterated Griner after the clip went public, and he didn't sugarcoat a single word. This wasn't some tame analysis. It was a full-on teardown, shining a spotlight on everything wrong with the WNBA's current climate. So what lit the fuse for PBD in the first place? It all started with what should have been just another on-court moment between Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. But as Bet David pointed out, it spiraled fast. Angel shoved one of Clark's teammates. Clark responded with a foul, and then Reese dropped like she got sniped from the rafters. Classic LeBron-style flop, according to PBD.
Diana Taurasi already did this. She was the Jackie Robinson, so to speak. But now they're doing this with Caitlin Clark, and we're supposed to be like, oh my God, I can't wait for more WNBA.
But that wasn't even the wild part. Instead of keeping it about basketball, the media circus kicked in, and things got messy. Certain personalities jumped in head first, turning a standard foul into a full-blown race debate. DeMarcus Cousins claimed Clark was only being protected because she's white. Angel Reese started throwing out incendiary comments. And then, cue the moment that really lit a fire under PBD, Jamila Hill jumped in with a take so wild it broke sports Twitter. Hill actually claimed that Angel Reese might become the Michael Jordan of the WNBA, yes. The same player who's currently shooting 22.7% from the field. Possibly.
Brittney Griner voiced frustration in a recent interview, claiming that Caitlin Clark is ruining what used to make the WNBA great. Wait for this.
Empty stands?
Tom, let me just.
I'm so mad.
WNBA games used to be a chill, quiet place. You could bring your laptop and relax, maybe even get a little work done. But now,
the worst percentage in league history, being compared to the GOAT, the greatest to ever touch a basketball. Patrick Bet David was floored. And honestly, so was everyone else who can count to 10. He broke it down. To know someone's intent, you read their expression, see their character, understand their worldview. But even without all that, he said you can still recognize when someone's projecting pure hate, especially self-hate, analyzing just the play, strictly as a professional. Reese's flop was ridiculous, but the madness didn't end there. Enter ESPN's Ryan Clark. He came out swinging, not at the play, not even at Caitlin, but at RG3. Why? Because RG3 had the audacity to defend Clark.
Pardon Victor Bout, a convicted arms dealer serving a 25-year sentence in Illinois. Bout was responsible for supplying weapons to rogues and terrorists around the world. Many committed to killing America.
Ryan Clark's take that RG3's opinion didn't count because he's married to a white woman. Yep, you heard that right. A prominent sports analyst tried to disqualify another black man's opinion on race based on who he married. PBD nearly lost it watching the clip. He couldn't believe something so divisive, so backwards, could make it to national TV. The idea that someone's marriage defines their credibility on racial issues. It's insane, and it shows just how distorted the WNBA discourse has become. But all that was just the warm-up. The main event came when the now infamous video of Brittney Griner surfaced. After fouling out against the Indiana Fever, the mic picked up what sounded like her saying trash.
Oh, and think about it, Brittney Griner talking all that trash. We traded the merchant of death for your ass, and you're out there talking shit and saying racist shit on the freaking sideline, and it's disgusting. Okay, that's why nobody watches it, and it'll
they're watching it.
Effing white girl. That's when PBD really went off. He didn't dance around it. He said flat out, it sounded like a racially charged comment from someone who absolutely should have known better, but Bet David wasn't finished. What really sent him over the edge was what he saw as Griner's staggering hypocrisy. Think about it. This is the same athlete who was freed from a Russian prison in a high-stakes swap for a literal arms dealer, the so-called merchant of death. And this is how she shows gratitude? By spewing racially divisive nonsense at the one player actually saving the WNBA from flatlining. PBD didn't let up. He reminded everyone the US government traded Victor Bout, one of the most dangerous arms dealers in the world.
Taurasi, because she came out pre-feminism, pre this push for making everything about feminism and femininity and pushing women down our throats. Without them pushing Caitlin Clark and them advertising and marketing and putting her on TV,
world to bring Brittney home. That's the level of sacrifice made on her behalf. And her response, to take aim at a teammate drawing massive crowds and media attention to a dying league. Then came the icing on the absurdity cake. Griner, in a recent post-game interview, seemed annoyed by something that would be music to any other player's ears. The sound of actual fans. She reportedly said that every time they played Caitlin Clark, the noise from the crowd was overwhelming. Thousands of people showing up on purpose, just to watch. Apparently that's disruptive now. It's called a game. PBD snapped. You're being paid to play it. But it got even weirder. According to some alleged quotes floating around, ones that turned out to be satire but were so believable it's almost scary, Griner complained that WNBA games used to be peaceful, that she could bring her laptop, maybe even get some work done in the stands. But now, fans are cheering, shouting, actually watching. In her words, it put unfair pressure on players to perform, like they're there for fans' entertainment. Imagine that. Even more absurd? She reportedly described the whole vibe as toxic. Said she saw a man and his daughter in the stands and couldn't quite hear them, but assumed it was either criticism about her play or casual racism. Whether the quotes were real or not, Patrick Bet David's reaction spoke volumes. He zeroed in on the sheer entitlement in that mindset. That a professional athlete would resent having a crowd, actual support, is so backwards, it's almost parody. And honestly, Adam's been saying this forever. And I gotta agree, this is exactly why the WNBA will never work, why it will never be profitable, and why Caitlin Clark, she's now paying the price for trying to play nice. Remember when she said, when we lost? All respect.
Where Ryan Clark says, how would he know he's married to a white girl? Is that the clip, Rob?
Yes, sir.
Okay, play this clip. Watch this, Vinny.
We moved in to being able to read the expressions of a person and know their intent, know their character, know their perspective. But he does understand hate because
Back to Caitlin Clark for saying, I want to say I've earned everything, but as a white person, there is privilege. That was a powerful moment. She tried to bridge the gap, to elevate black women and turn the spotlight toward unity. That should have been the end of the drama, but instead, Angel Reese and Brittney Griner walk around like the league owes them a debt. Even Ryan Clark's energy was off. Like, bro, where's the oppression? These are millionaires acting like victims. What we're seeing isn't confidence, it's pure entitlement. There's no humility, just attitude, and Patrick Bet David used all of this to make a larger point about the deeper cultural issues eating away at the WNBA. He argued that instead of showing gratitude for the spotlight Caitlin Clark brought to the league, players like Reese and Griner act as if they're being robbed, not lifted. Their vibe, more you owe me than thank you. PBD called it what it is, a culture of entitlement over appreciation, attitude over professionalism, the exact opposite of what makes athletes successful. Patrick Bet David didn't hold back. He ripped into the victim mindset that's become a virus in the WNBA. He reminded everyone that these women are wealthy athletes complaining about injustice while playing in a league that bleeds millions each year. They're backed by the NBA, cushioned by corporate sponsors, hyped by mainstream media, and yet they're still painted as the underdogs. PBD wasn't buying it. His breakdown was especially ruthless when he explained how this mindset is sabotaging the league's future. He said the WNBA was already sinking, and instead of plugging the holes, they're drilling more into the hull. And he's not wrong. They've got a once in a...
What would they have, and how long would it have taken for Griner to come here? And what would they have gotten in return in the negotiation?
Well, Pat, just really fast.
Either one of them, with DeSantis or Trump.
This is, you want to talk about crazy?
Generation draw in Caitlin Clark, someone who could completely change the game. And they're too caught up in playing the victim to capitalize on it. PBD also dragged the media's role into the spotlight. How it props up players like Reese and Griner while relentlessly going after Clark. He pointed out that Clark hurt her own brand when she bowed to pressure and made comments about white privilege instead of just sticking to hoops. Her attempt to appease critics by saying she wanted to uplift black women. It didn't win her any points. It made her look soft. That's us. When Patrick's business brain really kicked in, he gets that successful teams, companies, and brands don't reward victimhood or ego. They reward performance and professionalism. But the WNBA's doing the opposite, protecting underperformers while punishing the one player actually pushing the league forward. And the numbers don't lie. Angel Reese is shooting 22.7% from the field, possibly one of the worst percentages in league history. Yet she's the one getting all the PR love. Meanwhile, Clark is being torn down. Reese is hitting just 43.8% on shots within 5 feet. That's layups. She can't even finish at the rim consistently. PBD mocked the idea of calling someone the Michael Jordan of anything when they can't hit point-blank shots. He even said that NBA players like Karl Anthony Towns, who's known for inconsistency, would be offended by the comparison. But PBD's most brutal argument, the long-term fallout of this attitude, he predicted that the moment Clark gets injured or sits out, the WNBA's ratings and revenue would crash, and that would reveal just how much the league leans on her. And sure enough, when news broke that Clark would miss 2 weeks with an injury, he said, "Good, let's see what happens to viewership," because he already knew. Without Clark, the numbers would tank, proving that no one else in the league can draw eyes like she can. The rest of the players can keep talking about being disrespected or undervalued, but in the end, the market tells the truth. PBD even compared Clark to Jackie Robinson, not because of race, but because she's the first white superstar in a predominantly black league facing resistance from within. It's a wild twist of irony. Robinson dealt with racism from outside baseball while helping evolve the game. Clark's fighting resentment from inside her sport, even while she's elevating it. That comparison hits hard. Jackie Robinson was hated by crowds while saving baseball. Caitlin Clark is criticized by peers while saving women's basketball. Both challenged the status quo. Both were necessary for their sport to grow. PBD's read on the media was razor sharp. 2. He called out voices like Ryan Clark and Jamila Hill for pushing racial narratives over actual basketball analysis. But they're stirring up outrage where there should be celebration, turning athletic competition into social warfare. It's not helping the game, it's hurting it. He also slammed the WNBA's business logic. The league hemorrhages tens of millions every year and survives only because the NBA props it up. Yet some players complain about fans showing up and filling arenas. It's like a business mad that people want to buy their product. PBD's background in business gives him a unique lens. Real growth comes from delivering value, not playing the victim. Right now, the WNBA is choosing feelings over facts, and that's why it's stuck. There's talent, yes, but the focus is off. Instead of amplifying what works, they're
sitting there and people are yelling. Thousands of people. It's distracting. You're playing basketball in an arena. It doesn't make sense, Tom. They're doomed. They're doomed, and good for them. Adam, how much?
They're doubling down on what doesn't. PBD didn't stop there. He zoomed out and said this is part of a bigger trend hurting all of pro sports. The NBA's got its own problems. Players like LeBron James pushing anti-police, anti-American, pro-China messaging. When sports become political battlegrounds, fans check out. Families just want to watch a game. Casual fans want a break from lectures. When basketball turns into ideological theater, it stops being entertainment. He also nailed Clark's biggest misstep, trying to make peace with people who never had any intention of liking her. Her talk about privilege wasn't brave. It was a strategic error. She drifted from what made her special and got caught in racial politics that had nothing to do with the game. In doing so, she lost support from both sides. Her critics didn't ease up. Her supporters felt betrayed. A perfect storm. PBD's larger message. Identity politics don't belong in pro sports. Merit should lead. The WNBA has a shot at greatness. Real, sustainable growth. But only if it builds around actual talent like Clark. And right now, that opportunity is slipping away. His prediction about viewership during Clark's absence is the perfect test. If ratings collapse, it proves what we all suspect. The league's other stars aren't nearly as valuable as they think they are. And if the WNBA refuses to see that, it'll keep bleeding money and alienating the exact fans it needs most. Patrick Bet-David's breakdown of Brittney Griner and the WNBA's dysfunction wasn't just brutal, it was necessary. Someone had to step up and call out the entitlement, the hypocrisy, and the self-sabotage dragging women's basketball down. PBD did that, and honestly, the sports world needed to hear it. He gave the WNBA the wake-up call it's been avoiding. So what do you think about Patrick Bet-David's savage takedown? Drop your thoughts in the comments, smash that like button, and hit subscribe for more no BS sports commentary.